If someone is on the fence about working with Awakened Breath and going through the high impact healer training, what would you say to them?
If you are on the fence and you are ready to dive deep and you're ready to really take your life to the next level, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, there should be no question about where you are on the fence. Go ahead and take the job.
Jenny, thank you so much for taking the time to do this today. I really appreciate you hopping on for this quick interview.
Of course. I'm so happy to be here. Thank you.
You're so welcome. So, my first question for you is, what do you do? What is your wellness business? What do you do? And what is the impact that you're here to make in the world?
So the first question is, what do I do? So breathwork coach, facilitator. Thank you so much, Ben, for that. I do wellness coaching, as well as psychedelic integration coaching as well. So, um, really, most of the people I work with, that they come to me with extreme anxiety, depression, PTSD, and through breath work, number one, through the wellness, so daily changes that they need to make in their life. That is either, I don't push supplements, but lifestyle changes, movement, hydration, proper breathing. We start at the basics.
Hmm.
And then incorporating breath work. And then at some point, some of them are interested in microdosing psychedelics. And then if they want to have a deeper dive, that's when we go do retreats, and we do all that in Costa Rica. So that's kind of in a nutshell. So I do one-on-one coaching, group events. So like in Greenville, South Carolina, we have our Goddess Rising group that we formed there. And there's interest in doing the same thing here in Raleigh. So in the process of pulling that together. Yeah, so that's the business. So breath
Beautiful.
first, lifestyle changes, and then plant medicine at some point if you're interested in it. So
Amazing. Beautiful.
yeah.
So, Jenny, tell me, where were you before working with Awakened Breath and going through the high impact healer training compared to where you are now, now that you've gone through the training?
Oh wow. I'm gonna take a second with that one because that's a really, really big question. Um, so where was I before? Certainly not fucking sitting right here. That's for sure. Um, I was yeah, what was I before then? Totally different person, different place. But I was resisting the call to take the leap of faith and step into a full-on spiritual entrepreneurship program,
Hmm.
um, to do it completely independent. So, I have a lot of crazy life stories. I'll share that for a later time. That has, brought me to my own personal breathwork practice. Um, and got from athleticism to spiritual awakenings to, you know, all the other things that come that were really precursor to psychedelics,
Hmm.
and plant medicine. But essentially, I was, I don't want to say I was lost. I just didn't have the confidence I felt like I needed to really take the leap of faith and
Yeah.
take the steps to do it. So, I just, a year and a half out of a really intense, crazy relationship. Toward the end of that was whenever I, started with Awakened Breath. So I really needed, I would say, I kept saying, I need a kick in the ass. I need, people around me were telling me, everywhere around me were saying, Jenny, you should do this. Jenny, they've always said, you should be a coach. And I was doing Ironmans. Then I'm like, I couldn't train Ironman coaches. They're like, no, not Ironman stuff, just in general. And, I've had lots of coaches. I've had Ironman coaches. I've had leadership coaches. I've had executive coaches. I used to sell executive coaching programs of Gartner at one point
Hmm.
to executives. So, yeah, I just really think for me, I was in a very confusing place. I was resisting the call.
Hmm.
And I'll never forget, she worked with a startup that I did a while ago. And so she called me one day. She lived in Costa Rica, and she said, Jenny, you wouldn't believe. She said, because I used to teach breath work on Wellness Wednesdays when no one would show up to teach anything. They were like, Jenny, can you teach your breath work? And I'm like, what? Like, teach your breath work? It's just my morning practice.
Yeah.
right? And so next thing you know, I was teaching breath work virtually, for the company. But she called me and she said, Jenny, you really need to do something with this breath work. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She goes, I just went through a breath work training. I can't remember the name of it. And she said, I'm doing this now full time. And I'm like,
Hmm.
wow, okay. So I looked up her program. It was like one specific type of breath work. I
Yeah.
thought it was great, but I was like, I need more.
Hmm.
I need somebody who's going to teach me more than just one type of breath work. And so I started doing my research and I saw a couple different programs. And then Ben, I can't even remember what it was. Well, all I know is I saw whenever you popped up, whatever you said, I'm like, I got to find out more about this.
Hmm.
And so that's when I did, reached out, talked to a couple people. I can't remember now. It feels like it was lifetimes ago. And yeah, I was just very drawn to the program. Then I talked to you and I'm like, well, then I found out you're in Louisiana. I'm like, this is so crazy. But anyway, so I talked to you on the phone and yeah, it's the way you just not only did you describe the program, but the way you worked with me in my current situation was it was like, how do I describe it? It was, I'm lost for words knowing what it was, but whatever you did, I remember going, all right, the way this guy just handled this situation it was impressive to me.
Hmm.
Yeah, I just took the leap of faith. I really had zero expectations. I had no idea I would be doing what I'm doing right now at the
Which is
start of the
what?
program, which is starting and running my own, coaching and wellness programs
Yeah.
and retreats. You know,
Awesome.
I'm doing it. Like I've had one retreat, I have three planned for next year. Like it's happening, and not only did I just got the knowledge, I got the tools, and in the middle of that, I got the confidence that was needed to do it.
Hmm.
And yeah, I didn't like all the practicing at first. I didn't like getting in front of the camera. And I didn't like all those things. And I remember I'm like, Jenny, get comfortable being uncomfortable until uncomfortable becomes comfortable, because that's
Hmm.
where the change and transformation and growth happens. And I just kept like repeating that to myself, like, I hate the camera. But
And
that's
so,
what needed to happen to get me to where I could be now.
yeah. And so you sold your first retreat out.
Yes, it completely sold out. I had a goal of 4 and I had 10, which was my max. And yeah, and that just showed me stop thinking so small.
Yeah.
Stop, I really kept getting stop being so small.
Yeah. Well, I'm curious. Can you describe the time commitment on your end whenever you were going through the training?
Ooh, okay. It's really as much time as you want to put into it. I'll tell you that. I'm a single mom, 2 kids. At that time, I mean, it was wild. I mean, I remember going, I don't have time for this. And I'm like, I have to do this. I have to
Hmm.
make time for it. I'm gonna have to incorporate this into my life. So I had to make
Yeah.
it a priority. So again, the actual time that you guys have, you guys were very flexible. Everybody had their kids in tow, and I've got one in soccer over here, so it was possible. But what I found is the amount of time you want to put into the actual material is completely on you.
Yeah.
And it's how much you want to invest in yourself. How much is going to be maybe just clicking pages to get by a course? Sure, anybody can do that. But are you really putting in the daily practice and the things that you asked to do?
Hmm.
Some weeks, yes, some weeks, no. And I could see the benefits whenever I was doing it. So that's what created the momentum for me to continue to dive deeper and to really go into the material, not only to learn it, but to take it into your daily practice.
Yeah. Awesome. Beautiful. And how was your experience with the coaches, Joe, Laura, myself? Were we there for you? How did we hold you guys in the container?
Oh gosh, you guys were amazing. I love the dynamics. It was a good balance of masculine, feminine as well, and which I think is definitely needed in the
Yeah.
container. And Laura brings such an amazing feminine energy to it. I'm going to sound all a little hocusy pocusy, but it was a great demonstration of strength and power and like get your shit done and like big stuff to also like holding and nurturing through these big transformational experiences.
Hmm.
And so, and I mean that like whenever we got into like the sonic neural part,
Hmm.
I thought that was really good. Yeah, I think I just all of you guys did great, and I love how the team worked together when you had things going on in your life,
Hmm.
and how you could pick up and support each other. I thought that was a good demonstration of like how a team works together and supports each other.
Awesome.
I think one time you traveled to Peru or wherever you went, and it was just great to see the team come together
Hmm.
and giving us an update on Ben, but also just we're going to pick up and this is where we're going. And they were able to add in a flavor to it that, like, while you were gone, we wouldn't have had that anyways. Does
Yeah,
that make sense? And
absolutely.
I think it was very powerful because sometimes people can get so dependent on one person
Yep.
that it's really drawing from the different experiences. And I just think Laura watching her blossom too is beautiful on the back, on the end of this now to continuously see the growth. Joe, I'm enjoying watching his stuff. Like it's great. We're
Hmm.
all growing, we're all shifting, and we're evolving, and we're all there to support each other through it.
Awesome. Beautiful. Thank you for sharing that.
Mhm.
And I'm curious, based on the results that you've gotten so far, where do you see yourself in your wellness business in the next 6 to 12 months?
That's what I was sitting down to do actually on Thanksgiving when I have no distractions because everyone is busy doing Thanksgiving. So I was actually going to sit down and work on my 6 month and 12-month plan. Where do I see myself? It's funny, I'm taking like a couple weeks off in December after my retreat too to really sit down and work on content and video and content.
Hmm.
So I would like to have a more online presence um, with the content that I've have been working on and will continue
Hmm.
to do so. So that is very uncomfortable for me.
Uh-huh.
So but that's where I see myself going is more with an online presence.
Building
Uh,
your business online.
Growing my business online, yes,
How
that
about
is.
retreats, coaching,
Yep,
income? How do you see that? Like the grand
yep.
vision, not the
So
details.
retreats, at least 4 next year.
Hmm.
I have 3 booked, 2 in Costa Rica, 1 in Greece. Greece, I
Awesome.
was invited to come and teach for the Greece one, so I don't have to do the business shit. I was like, you mean I get paid to just come and teach breathwork and
Hmm.
my goddess rising content, and I don't have to do with the business? So that's gonna be a nice little break.
Hmm.
So that's kind of a cool, invitation that I have for 2025. But yes, I definitely have 2 retreats. I may end up adding another one in because there's interest to do plant medicine. Within a given anyway. So 3 to 4 retreats for the next 6 to 12 months. Um, Income, God, I haven't even. I got this. So I got to sit down and put some pen to paper on that.
Manifest it right here and now.
It's just so interesting. I guess I can't even do the dollar amount right now because I'm sitting here going, I want to focus on residual income.
Yeah.
So now we're gonna
Why
have a
don't we
coaching
focus
session,
on six
you and I.
figures?
Oh, for sure. Yeah, definitely 6 figures where it comes easily and effortlessly. That's what it is.
Beautiful. Awesome. And
Yes.
then I'm curious if you were surprised by the results that you got with going through the high impact healer training with Awaken Breath. Did it exceed your expectations? Did it meet them?
Oh God. Honestly, I didn't have any expectations, is what I'll say. If I had any, I know for sure it would have definitely exceeded the expectations. No
Awesome.
doubt.
Awesome. Beautiful. And then I'm curious if someone is on the fence about working with Awaken Breath and going through the high impact healer training, what would you say to them?
If they're hesitant, sorry, my dog distracted me because I heard him growl.
If they're on the fence about
Oh, if they're on
working
the
with us. Hmm.
fence. Well, if you're on the fence, jump on over. Like, you shouldn't be on the fence. And I say that well because I felt like I wasn't really on the fence. So for me, it was like knowing. But this could be your message that you need to hear if you are on the fence. If you are on the fence and you are ready to dive deep and you're ready to really take your life to the next level, and I mean that from the bottom of my heart, there should be no question about where you are on the fence. Go ahead and take the job.
Amazing. Thank you so much, sister. Anything else that you want to share to anybody who may see this?
Uh, just do it. Just do it. If you feel drawn and if you feel called, Don't stop. Just just do it, because your life is going to change forever. And it's not only about your life changing forever, it's the impact that you are going to have on the people around you. And you will attract the right people at the right time. Don't be scared about breath work. I know it sounds a little woohoo sometimes to people, but telling you, we are pioneering here and it's going to be the new norm. I'm telling you, I don't know when, but it's going to be the new norm. So be on the cutting edge of change and come and pioneer with us. That's it. Yeah.
Amazing, Jenny. Thank you so
You
much for taking
guys,
the time to do this today, Jenny. I appreciate you so much.
of course, you too. Happy Thanksgiving.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.